Good morning, boys. So, we will today also continue with the remaining portion of the story, Leela's friend. And I would like to once again recapitulate the things we have done. What has happened? He has, Siddha has settled in the house of Leela and they have developed a friendly relation. What has happened? Leela holds classes for him, but Siddha is not at all interested in it. And what happens? She wants him to study, she wants him to impart the knowledge that she has. But Siddha is not at all interested in getting any kind of education. And he plays a mystery and tells that her mother is calling her for dinner, and for that purpose she goes away. And after that, Leela is ready for the story, and you have seen what kind of stories are told by Siddha. All great imaginative stories regarding the magicians and what were there, incomparable animals, gods in the heaven, magicians, etc., etc., golden castles created by the magicians. Now, boys, we will move forward. Next paragraph. Day by day, she clung closer to him. With the passage of the day, she was closer to him, coming closer, clung, holding. She insisted upon having his company all her waking hours. As long as she is waking, as long as Leela is waking, she insisted on the company of Siddha. She wanted the company of Siddha. She loved the company of Siddha. And you can understand, you can imagine how fine was the friendship between Leela and Siddha. She was at his side when he was working in the garden or dropping or chopping wood, and accompanied him when he was sent on errands. She was there in his every activity. And if you remain very much always with a person, then a friendship is bound to grow. And you can imagine a very cordial, very close, very intimate relation developed between Leela and Siddha. Now, one evening, boys, this is the turning point in the story. One evening, he went out to buy sugar and Leela went with him. Boys, I'm telling you, this is the turning point of the story. I had told you in the introductory class that R.K. Narayan creates a problem. And there is solution, no problem, Silas. One evening he went out to buy sugar and Leela went with him. When they came home, Leela's mother noticed that gold chain Leela had been wearing was missing. You can imagine the situation. Leela had a golden chain and that was missing. And when it was noticed, when she returned with Siddha from an errand. Where is your chain? Leela looked into her shirt, searched and said, I don't know. Her mother gave her a slap. One slap was given. You can understand a little child was slapped by mother for this great mistake committed by her. How many times I have told you to take it off and put it in the box. Now, try to understand the dialogue of Mrs. Shivsankar. She is reminding her that she had already told her to keep it in the box, but it wasn't heard by Leela. Siddha, Siddha, she shouted, a moment later. Now, when a precious item like a gold chain is missing in the house, naturally, search has to be done. And what is happening? She is calling the servant. Siddha, Siddha, she shouted a moment later. As Siddha came in, Leela's mother threw a glance at him and thought the fellow already looked queer. When Siddha arrived, Leela's mother looked at him and she was able to understand that the man was already giving a queer look, odd look. It was the oddity that was present on the appearance of Siddha. What happens when somebody commits a crime, commits a mistake, some kind of wrong mark can be found on the face of a person, and Mrs. Sipsankar was able to feel that something is odd in the appearance of Siddha. She asked him about the chain. His throat went dry. It was very normal on part of Mrs. Sipsankar to ask, where is the chain? And within moments, his throat went dry. He blinked and answered that he did not know. He blinked and said, I don't know. He clarified that he did not know. She mentioned the police and shouted at him. What happens when somebody, is guilty, or we feel that he is guilty? Mrs. Sipsankar was feeling that it was Siddha who had taken the chain, who had stolen the chain, and for that reason she reminded him that I am going to complain it to the police. As a result of this, she mentioned the police and shouted at him. She had to go back into the kitchen for a moment because she had left something in the oven. Something was being cooked by her. She went to see that it must not be burnt, and what happened? See. Leela followed her, whining, giving me some sugar, mother, I'm hungry. When they came out again and called Siddha, Siddha, there was no answer. Siddha had vanished into the night. Now, a very awkward situation. Siddha has vanished. He has gone without telling anything to Mrs. Siddha or his friend Leela. Siddha has gone. Mr. Sipsankar came home an hour later. An hour later, Mr. Sipsankar arrived home, and what happened? Grew very excited over all this. When he came to know that the chain is missing, Siddha has gone. He was excited. Went to the police station, lodged a complaint. It was normal reaction coming from Mr. Sipsankar. After her meal, Leela refused to go to bed. You can understand the problem of Leela. She had formed a habit of listening to the stories from Siddha, and now what is happening? Siddha is no longer there. She was refusing to go to bed. I won't sleep unless Siddha comes and tells me stories. I don't like your mother. She is angry. Little child is angry because her friend is not there. Children make a habit of listening to the stories and then after they go to sleep and hear what is happening. She is finding it rather difficult and I don't like you. Even to her mother, she is telling that she doesn't like. You are always abusing and worrying Siddha. She is defending her friend, telling that he is abused and she also said that you are always worrying him. Why are you so rough? She is charging her mother. Why are you so rough? But he has taken away your chain. Mother is giving her explanation. She is telling that he has taken your chain. Let him. It doesn't matter. Tell me a story. Let him. She is not bothered. Leela is not bothered, even if he has taken her chain. She is telling her mother to tell a story. Sleep, sleep, said mother, attempting to make her lie down on her lap. Mother is trying her best to make Leela sleep. Tell me a story, mother. Leela said it was utterly impossible for her mother to think of a story now. The situation of the house was not very convenient for a mother to tell the story to the child because the golden chain of Leela was stolen. It was a very odd situation. Mentally, she was not prepared to tell a story to her daughter. Her mind was disturbed. Naturally, you can feel, you can understand. The thought of Siddha made her panic. She was in panic mode. The fellow, with his knowledge of the household, might come in at night and loot. Now, one idea floated in the mind of Mrs. Shivsankar that the fellow called Siddha had the knowledge of entire house and he would come and loot, he would come and plunder. She shuddered to think what a villain she had been harboring all these days. Now she was realizing that a villain had been working in the house of Mr. and Mrs. Shivsankar. It was God's mercy that he had not killed the child for the chain. And now she is realizing that, oh my God, by God's grace, the child has been saved. Otherwise, the criminal called Siddha might have killed the child for a chain. It might have happened. But it's not like that. By God's grace, the child is saved. Sleep, sleep. Leela, she cajoled. She cajoled. She tried her best to make her sleep. Can't you tell the story of the elephant? Leela asked. Again, Leela is not going to settle for less than a story. She is not going to sleep without listening to the story. Mother replied no. Leela made a noise of deprecation and asked. It was total disapproval on the part of Leela. She didn't like this. She didn't like the answer of the mother that she is not going to tell the story. Why should not Siddha sit in our chair, mother? Now she asked, what happens? Servants are not allowed to sit on the chair or on the bed where the employers and members of the family sleep and take rest and sit, etc. Mother, don't answer the question. Why should not Siddha sit in the chair, mother? Mother didn't answer the question. What kind of answer will be given by Mrs. Shankar? She didn't answer anything. Leela said a moment later, Siddha is gone because he would not be allowed to sleep inside the house just as we do. You can also understand from a child's point of view. She is telling that Siddha was not treated well by Mrs. Sipsankar. As a result of this, he is heartbroken and he has left the house. Why should he be made to sleep outside the house? Why? She has a question. Why he is not treated as a member of the family? I think he is angry with his mother. By the time Sipsankar returned, Leela had fallen asleep. He said, what a risk we took in engaging that fellow. It seems he is an old criminal. Now, one revelation has appeared. Mr. Sipsankar has arrived and told his wife that apparently he was a criminal. He had gone to jail. He had been in jail half a dozen times for stealing jewelry from children. From the description I gave, the inspector was able to identify him in a moment. So what is happening? Mr. Sipsankar had once again gone to the police station there, and the inspector had told him from the description he had given that he is a criminal. He had been in jail for several times. He had been to jail, and the crime was stealing the jewelry from the children. You can understand the shock that would come to Mrs. Shivsankar. Where is he now? Asked the wife. The police know his haunts. Where is he now? Asked the wife. Wife's question, very simple. Where is he now? If he is a criminal, where is he now? The police know his haunts. The police knows the haunt, the places regularly visited, the places where Siddha frequently goes. It is known to the police, and they are going to arrest him because the places are known to them. They will pick him up very soon, don't worry. This is the assurance given by Mr. Sipsankar to his wife. That police is active, they are going to arrest him. The inspector was furious that I did not consult him before employing. The inspector in the police station, nearby police station, was very much angry that before employing, he must have given the information, consulted the policemen there. It was not done by Mr. Sipsankar. As a result of this, the police was very much angry. 4 days later, just as father was coming home from office, a police inspector and a constable brought in Siddha. What happened? One day, Mr. Sipsankar arrived from office, and what happened? Inspector also came with constables, and they brought Siddha. Siddha stood with bowed head. His head was down because of the shame. Leela was overjoyed. Leela was very happy to see her friend. Siddha, Siddha, she cried and ran down the steps to meet him. Very energetic Leela, after seeing Siddha, she went to him. Don't go near him, the inspector said, stopping her. The the inspector stopped Leela. You can understand the feeling of Leela at the moment. She didn't like when the inspector stopped her. Why not? The inspector replied, he is a thief. He has taken away your gold chain. The inspector tried to give reason for not going near him. Let him, innocent child, telling, let him take the chain. I am not at all bothered for it. I will have a new chain, Leela said, and all of them laughed. Everybody laughed at the innocent reaction made by Leela. And then Mr. Shivsankar spoke to Siddha. And then his wife addressed him with a few words on his treachery. What is happening? Mr. Shivsankar spoke to Siddha and then his wife addressed him with a few words on his treachery. Treachery, it's a fine word for sedition, for fighting, and in Hindi we call it dhoka. The place where he was working, at the same place, he had done treachery. They then asked him where he had put the chain. It was a question asked to Siddha, where he has put the chain. I have not taken it, Siddha said feebly. What is the answer? He said, I have not taken it. It was a long reaction. He said, he has not taken it. Siddha said feebly, looking at the ground, feebly, in a weak manner. It was a very weak answer given by Siddha. Why did you run away without telling us? Asked Leela's mother. If somebody is telling that he has not stolen, again the question is asked, why did he run away without telling? Why did you run away without telling us? Asked Leela's mother. There was no answer. Leela's face became red. Leela's face became red. Oh, policeman, leave him alone. I want to play with him. For a number of days, the routine of Leela was disturbed. A majority of time was spent in playing when Siddha was not there. What is happening? Leela was feeling big boredom with. She was not in a mood to listen to anyone. She was telling the inspector that she wants to play with Siddha and she must be allowed to play with Siddha. Siddha must be allowed to play with Leela. Oh, policeman, leave him alone. I want to play with him. My dear child, said the inspector, he is a thief. Let him be. Leela replied haughtily. Arrogant reply was there. She said, let him be. If he is a thief, there is no need to arrest him. There is no need to punish him. We keep it up to this part. We are going to complete the chapter next day. So boys, thank you. We are going to meet in the next class and most probably we are going to end it in the next class. Thank you.